Hey guys, today we're going to do our first kind of teaching video. This is an intro to DMX, really basic. There's a PowerPoint to follow along, and at the end of the PowerPoint, there is a little quiz if you feel inclined to do so with a feedback survey. It'd be really helpful if you could fill that out. I'd love to see what your thoughts on this. This is my first kind of teaching video, aside from one other video I did a few years ago that did fairly well. So let's give this a shot. So let's just talk about what does DMX stand for? What is DMX? DMX stands for Digital Multiplex. It is a lighting protocol, digital protocol, that allows us to control lights in a theatrical environment. The DMX protocol was invented in the mid-80s. It was developed by the USITT, which is the United States Institute of Theater Technology. They also standardized kind of the DMX cable, the 5-pin. Now, why do we need DMX? Why do we have to standardize this? Well, the real reason to standardize is that when you look back at older control consoles, a lot of consoles only worked with those companies' lights. So company A's lights only worked with company A's consoles. You couldn't use company B. You couldn't cross communicate things. So this made it really hard when you were if you were going to different venues, you kind of had to figure out their consoles right before the show. So with the standardization of DMX, you could bring your console to a venue. You didn't have to worry about fixtures. This also allowed techs to really dive in deep to programming consoles and still using some of their favorite fixtures and letting console developers be console developers and lighting manufacturers be lighting manufacturers and not have to worry, even though a lot of companies do make their own consoles and lights. But in this case now, you have the option to find your favorite console and work with lighting. So a quick little note here I threw in, just a fun little history thing of what was before DMX. Well, there were saltwater dimmers, also known as piss pots. And what they were a lever, a water tank, two electrons, and what would happen is the technician would lower the lever, and as it got closer, more electricity would flow through the salt water, which is a natural resistance. And as it got closer, the lights became brighter. As it went away, it got dimmer. And it doesn't take an electrical engineer to understand that putting electricity in the water is not a great idea. This could be very dangerous. So luckily now we have electronic dimmers. You can run DMX to it. No one's touching anything. So let's talk about the capabilities and the restrictions of DMX. So DMX 512 refers to how many channels a single cable can control. 512 channels is referred to as a universe in the lighting world, and some consoles have multiple universe outputs. So this allows you to kind of control more than just 512. So since DMX is a digital signal, this allows you to kind of run the cable over far distances. Now, I've heard a lot of different people say different things about how far you can run it. I've heard 3,000. I've heard 1,600. Some people go by fixture count. It's usually 32 to 36 fixtures. And it's really just something you'll start to play with. I've never fully run into it. I like to use a lot of DMX splitters, and that boosts the signal. So if I'm going from front of house to stage, that might be 100, 150 feet. Then the DMX signal boosts it, and then I'm just going to the lights from there. And I'm usually not working on stages bigger than 60 feet, so from that point, it's pretty easy. So how does it work? It's pretty primitive when you think about it. It's just a binary code. It's just using ones and zeros, ons and off, to send down bits down to your lights. Now, each channel, we have 512 channels. Each channel can control a variance of 0 to 255. So that's 256 different values per channel. So when you pick up an RGB fixture, the red, green, blue, just primary colors, and you hear that it can do something like 16 million colors. That's what it's referring to, is each value is 256 steps. So if you add up all those combinations, it's something like 16.5 million different colors. Now, when people hear 512, they wonder, is that 512 lights or 512 channels? Both are kind of correct until you start getting into fixtures that are not just one channel on off. So, like I said, with the RGB lights, those take up at least 3 channels. You can have more once you start looking into adding whites and ambers, UV colors, and then just dimmers and strobes, all within those profiles. So if you're looking at a 3-channel light, you can fit 170 lights and still have a couple channels left over in a universe. Now, to get your system set up so you can control lights and do your fun rock show, your theater, your corporate show, you're going to need a few things. So the first thing is you're going to need some kind of control. So this could be something like a console. This could be a lighting program with a dongle or something that get from either USB or the Cat5 cable to DMX. And there's really, at this point, there's even apps for your phone that connect to like a Bluetooth dongle. Now, once we have a way to send out DMX, we can transmit DMX, we have to get it to our lights. Now, like I said, you could use a DMX cable, great option. There's networking. I'm not going to get too much into networking just because networking is a whole other topic on its own. And there is wireless DMX now. Which some people like, some people don't. So again, that's about your preference. So now that you're transmitting DMX, you have the cable. Now we just have to plug into a light. Now, the light has an address and modes usually. If you're dealing with a RGB or moving light, you'll have an address that tells the light where it's at in that 512 channels. And then the mode refers to more the light specifically. Like I said, if it's an RGB, that's a 3-channel mode. If you have a dimmer RGB, that's a 4-channel mode. And it all kind of just depends on what light you're using. If it's a moving light, it might be like 20 channels. And some lights now are getting up to like 300 or even a full universe just for a single light. So now that we're transmitting DMX, we have a way to get it to the light's receiving it. Now let's talk about kind of controlling controlling the lights through DMX. So let's say we have one light, it's RGB, and it's on address 1. And then we have another light that's on address 4. Because when you look at, you have RGB, so that's 3 channels. Then your next light goes on channel 4. So if we put both faders 1 and 4 at full, we should have both of those lights turning red. Now, if we take down those and we go channels 3 and channel 6 at full, our lights are going to turn blue. And if we go the one before that, they're going to go green. And now we can start mixing and matching though. So now if we have our blue channels up all the way, and then we can go back to 1 and 4, turn up the red channels, and guess what? We have magenta now. And the possibilities are endless. The lights don't have to all be the same color. You could mix and match. You can make one magenta, one cyan. My favorite colors, as you can tell. And this is really where you get to be creative. You get to choose color scheme, positions, gobos, so many things. This is just the tip of the iceberg with DMX. Let me know what you think. There's a quiz at the end of this. There's also a little feedback survey I'd love for you to fill out. Just let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.